Well, good evening, all. I am back, and in case you were wondering why the absence of videos over the last year or so, well, I moved house. We needed to settle the kids into nursery. We needed to fix up a load of things. That has sort of preoccupied me for the last year, but I'm back with a bang because if you have seen my Facebook channel and Twitter, I'm doing a documentary with Byline TV. So this is a Byline TV documentary. I'm the presenter. We launched it last night, late last night. And so in one day, we've already got over halfway on our 50K crowdfunder. So thanks so much to all of you that have chipped in so far, because it's absolutely storming it. And we're going to smash this target in no time. And for good reason too, because isn't it about time we had a proper documentary on Brexit that pulls everything together? Now, I know the FT today, actually, just today, came out with a mini film on Brexit and how that links to Truss's disaster mini budget just released. But that doesn't cover everything that needs to be covered. All of the cultural angles of abandoned EU citizens, which were so poorly treated, all of the businesses that have had such massive impact on them. We've got all of these stories. We've been collecting so many of these stories in articles, from the Bylines network, from elsewhere. We've been documenting damage there. From Byline TV, we've been going around the country talking to manufacturers and farmers and fishermen and so forth and so on. So we've got all of these stories sector by sector, and it's about time we brought it all together, not just for the audience in this country, now that it's clear that Brexit's gone pretty much tits up and everyone knows it, but also, importantly, for that international audience that look in at us and say, what's going on there? And who's going to tell them what's going on here, if not us? So I am back with a bang. This is the project we are doing. The little promo video went out yesterday. There's another explainer video from me on the site of what the money is for, the travel, the research, the equipment that you need, hiring of other people to do graphics, yada yada yada, hiring of locations sometimes. Everything that goes into a documentary. So if you check that out on the website, and I think I've put the link somewhere, you'll see that as well. But we're really going to go for this. And of course, why not? I mean, we've been living in this for years. We've been steeped in it. We've been the ones collecting the receipts, left, right, and centre. So isn't it about time we pulled it all together to deliver a documentary that can really capture all of that? So that's what we're up to. It's going to be hard work. I can see I'm going to go mad at various points along this journey. But I'm really, really confident of the team that we've got on it, because Byline TV have been doing great stuff, not just in studio, but also around the country. They've really got such a good eye for the visual aspect of it, and also, the personal life story content that is out there. And George and Kaylin, they've got a lot of experience at doing documentaries previously, so I just know that we're in good hands here. And as I've said in a few videos over the last one day, it's a community endeavor, because so much of the information we've grabbed has come, from you, from content that we've seen on Twitter, from local groups that have enriched the whole Bylines network with local reporting, but then also the backing, the financial donations and sponsorship that this grassroots community has given Bylines network, Byline Times, and Byline TV all the way through. So I think it's about time that we made something that you would really love, that you really want to see. So for those of you that have donated already, and that's a lot of you, many hundreds, that have rocketed us over the 25K mark as of an hour or two ago. Thank you so much. It means that we can do what we want to do. It's massively empowering, and it means we can start sort of getting planning stuff already. In fact, the faster we can hit that 50K mark, we can actually then start talking about, do we dare do a full sort of 90-minute documentary? I mean, the full package. The Brexit, the movie, that was 80 minutes, and they had a budget of 300K. But we reckon we could do a good 90-minute one for sort of 90 to 100 kind of mark. And that's in hiring all the experts that we think we need in order to do the research, do the graphic, high locations, get the right quality cameras, all of that kind of jazz. But anyway, we can certainly do a product on the 50K mark. We've already calculated that and worked that out. So the sooner we hit that, the sooner we can just say, go, go, go. And all the plans that we've been scribbling down about the structure of it, our wish list of people that we want to interview, and we've got the contacts, we've got the connections. We can just start activating that straight away. So that's all very exciting stuff. I'm absolutely delighted tonight that it's cracking on at such a pace. And for those of you that do back and chip in and all the rest, we will be keeping people updated all the way through this. We'll be dropping little teasers, behind the scenes stuff, interacting and just basically making sure that this is a real sort of team effort. And by team, I mean everyone that supports everything Bylines. That's what it's got to be about. That's where the sort of the media is different and it's more fun. It's like Friday night with Byline Times, when we do the after shows and things like that for subscribers and chat to people who've got questions. Speaking of which, I can see lots of comments coming in the side. So let's go for some of those. Hooray! Welcome, Mike. Do you think we will join the EU soon? No, not soon. But I think more and more people are wanting to do that, particularly from the younger generations. And that goes not just for Labour, Lib Dems, Green, SNP and Plaid. I think there's an increasing number of young Tories that are worried about the damage of Brexit. I've seen data on this. Younger Tories, they're worried about the damage of Brexit. They're worried about what that means for opportunities for small businesses and all the rest. And they are more Europhile instinctively in terms of how they see things. Someone else asked, will they actually want us back? So if we're talking about rejoin, and with this documentary, the structure, as we have planned, is firstly the damage done, where we are at the moment. Let's look at all the different sectors and how they've been blasted up. I want to talk about science, right? I've been sort of held back on this by other things, but science has been hit badly. We know about farming and fishing. We know about the city and financial industries. We know about citizen rights, both UK citizen rights and EU citizen rights. So we can do sector by sector about the damage done, the opportunities lost, the loss of Erasmus, all of that, right? Then section 2 of 3 is, well, how did we get here? I know an old lady who swallowed a fly and then swallowing that fly meant that, oh, we voted leave. So that must mean that we're rejecting free movement, which must mean we're outside the single market. And if we want full sovereignty, that's outside the customs union as well. Oh, and then we just go and throw away Euratom. We just go and throw away Erasmus. And anyway, so that whole sequence of events and how things have played out in Parliament, which has taken us from a sort of 17 people vote one way to 16 people vote the other way, that tiny marginal difference, to then they won by an inch and then they take the whole mile and give us the hardest Brexit ever, which naturally concludes in Trussonomics, which then just blows up in everyone's faces, and suddenly they want sensible people back in. So the whole chronology, not just for the home audience, who don't remember that the Benn Act was this massive drive of parliamentary sovereignty that told the PM, no, you are not leaving without a deal. If you attempt that, you will go to jail. And so he had to go and get you. all these things that people have forgotten in the country, but also for everyone around the world who's utterly confused about why Brexit happened and then how it happened and why we're in the state now. That tale needs to be told for them. And it should be us and our community with our capacity that we've developed, being the authentic, cold-faced voice on how this has all happened. It should be us, the Japanese, the Spanish, the Americans, Canadians, Australians, Indians, South Africans are hearing, right? So that's why we've got to do this and do it in a way that it is all really, really credible and fact-based and unimpeachable, so that it is good for television sets right around the world. How did I get drifting onto that? I was on the question of, will they actually want us back? If you come to the National Rejoin March this Saturday, 22nd of October, then actually I think we've got a speaker on stage from the EU who is going to say very much that there is a big fan club for the UK, the Brits as we know them, and having the nation back in the family, whether that be directly in the EU or the single market or other working relationships, doesn't matter. We're still neighbours, we're still a family, and there is appetite to have us back. You know, obviously once we, shed a few loonies in power, but Britain, as it always sort of has been in Europe, always is a power in Europe, welcoming that back in. So yes, there is absolutely appetite for that, but we've got to sort ourselves out within this country first. Let's face it. Can't wait to see it. Can't take much more of these Tories. If Tobias Ellwood is saying Brexit doesn't work, and Telegraph says that Remainers have underplayed Project Fear, and there are chinks of light. They are coming faster and faster. Yes, I agree. And that's kind of what I was saying before, which is it's dawning on more and more people that Brexit was an experiment. You do an experiment and you see if it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then what do you do? Do you still stay stuck in it out of pride? Or do you say, right, how do we move from here to a solution which does work? And I think in the minds of many, ideology is out, and pragmatism, just sensible pragmatism, is actually starting to come back in. It needs to be documented, says Caroline. So far, the picture is fragmented, but this project will marry up the evidence. That's exactly it. All of us know all these different scattered pieces of where damage has happened or where opportunities have been lost. And maybe we know a figure here or a figure there, but because it's come one by one through the media and not very cohesively through the BBC, for example, there has been no real effort to, as what you said, marry up the evidence, marry up the pieces and say, this is what the thing looks like as a whole in its entirety. Here is your, top takes for all the different sectors. Here's your easy to remember narrative for how one thing knocked onto another in the chronology. And in section 3, what are our options now? What are the options as far as rejoiners or single market proponents, or even, determined Brexiteers see for our future? Let's hear from everyone that's got an idea about where this country goes next, because those are the big discussions that we should be having as a nation. The moment you lose that ability to have the big talk about where your nation is going to be in the future, and history is long going forward, then the more you just descend into your own navel-gazing chaos. So David Gold says, the FT have put out a mini documentary on the economics effects of Brexit, particularly its influence on small businesses. It's hard-hitting purely because Brexit is such a disaster. I suggest promoting as well and saying how important it is. Yeah, so we launched this last night, and then today we saw that the FT had done a mini film on this, and it's really very strongly in the same kind of vein that we want to do, with those fluid graphics of actually the data impact with diagrams, but then mixing it up with stories. Now theirs is only half an hour end to end, and it just focuses on the economic impacts. But yes, that's the kind of direction that we want to go in. But this is obviously community driven, community owned, builds on our archival footage, and also is designed to be accessible, will be designed to be accessible to a much broader audience, not just nationally but globally. Have a chat with Peter Oborn if you can. Don't worry, I know him well. I know Peter well. Donated and shared. Thank you, Jill. That's awesome. 90 minutes, says Meg. You need to do 90 hours. Maybe a series. There's so much material it could go on longer than Coronation Street. Yeah, okay. But Meg, we also need to preserve our sanity here, and we also need to make it digestible. So the really difficult crunches, the mental lists expand on everything that you want to cover, but you need to really slim it down so that it has that narrative thread all the way through. And that's going to be a massive challenge, because you also don't want to do the simple version. You also want to be dropping in things there that people don't know. And I've got a whole bucket list of little, anecdotes or slices from the whole history that people don't actually know yet. And we want to dig out some of those as well, because that's surprising and enriching and fun. So actually stripping down the material is going to be a big challenge. Talk to Yanis Zaruf. I think you mean Yanis Varoufakis. Yep. We still have hope, says Roxy. Yeah, and you should do. As I've said before, life is long. Politics and history even longer. You can already see it falling apart for the current direction. So the question is, how do you wrap up narratives now and seize initiatives now? So yeah, you should have a lot of hope in this. Don't forget the environment and historic environment. Absolutely not. The whole aspect of the environment and standards, and we're talking about British European standards, because we have the same values on so many of these issues. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. And that's important also to the conservative rural vote as well. Again, I've seen polling on so many aspects of this. The Conservatives themselves, their base, don't want to see deregulation and their environment around them ripped up. That is not what they want from Brexit, yet that's what they're being served up by the ERG. Don't forget Brits living in the EU. Absolutely not. Brits in the EU and EU citizens in the UK, a vital angle that so many people miss. God, there's loads and loads of these. Please cover how many Brexiteers have Euro passports. Now, I'll think about that one, but I care less about those that have sort of run away and escaped, and I care more about people who are suffering. Thanks for remaining the voice of reason through these difficult times. Thank you. And I'd like to say also that there are more and more voices of reason emerging from our community and developing and becoming strong voices. And I do think that we have now so much more capacity than the Remainers, if you will, had back in 2015 and 2016. There are so many veterans now, and there are so many structures that we've got and campaigns. We're in a much stronger position now. You can really feel it. Defo, come and join us in London, Saturday 22nd, this Saturday, for the start of the Rejoin campaign. March for rejoin.co.uk. Yes, I know it well. I've been helping it out, and I will be speaking on stage there. What else can we do to assist? Spread the word is the main thing. It's about spreading the word. I mean, if you've got any particular knowledge or angles, then tweet at me or DM me. But the most important thing is chipping in and spreading the word, and just being signed up to everything that Byline Times, Byline TV, and the Bylines Network do. Yes, I injured my fingers doing DIY. It was a DIY success, but with collateral damage a few days ago. Yeah, planing machine. Scotland is wanting to rejoin the EU, and after Scottish independence vote, and I don't blame them. Yeah, so that is another aspect too, which is not just the cohesion of our country, but for example, when the Westminster government tries to shove trade deals down the throats of Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland without them even having a veto, that's nuts. I mean, if Scotland, for example, was an independent country in the EU, it would have a veto. I mean, if even regions of small countries like Wallonia in Belgium had a veto on the deal that the EU did with Canada, then it is absolutely nuts the way the Brexit dynamic has played out within the nations of the UK. And whatever side you stand on of Scottish independence, there have been some massive injustices meted out by the Brexiteers within the Conservative Party upon the other nations of the UK. Right, I'm gonna loads of comments here. Like you said, Brexit is a failed experiment. Why carry on to try and polish a turd? Okay, it's a series of documentaries, Mike. Yep, but you have to start somewhere. So I'm gonna wrap it up with this, because I meant to do this as a short video saying thanks for getting us through the halfway mark in just one day. But as ever, I tend to start prattling away and then get chatting back and forth. But I just want to say, yes, I know it's a massive project. We've got a minimum viable model that we can do on 50K for 50-minute documentary. It would be beautiful if we smash that and we could very bravely take on a full 90-minute thing, which would be the absolute dream. And get that done quickly and efficiently. I just came on to say thanks ever so much to everyone who's been backing this. Believe that we are determined. Believe that we have archival footage. Believe that we know the polling. We know the people. We know the data that we can pull in sector by sector. We're determined to do this. We're going to do the documentary that the BBC in a normal, insane world should have done or should do, but we know that they won't. So we feel we've got the capacity to do it, and that's what we're doing. And I'm enjoying it, and it's nice to be back, and it's nice to have all of you sort of rallying round as well and helping us out. And it looks like it's all on track for exactly what I hoped it would be in terms of the support. So let's just like sally forth and do this thing. Because it's for us to write the history of our country. This is for us to do. All right, cool. Good night, everyone. Take care, and no doubt see you soon, because this is going to be a big engagement, constant engagement thing with the whole Bylines audience all the way through this project. So see you soon.